Hey guys, so this is where I'll be covering what to do in the pre-launch, launch, and post-launch. So pre-launch is basically anything that happens prior to the drop and the duration of the drop. And then launch is obviously basically the drop happening and then for the duration of the drop. And post-launch is basically how to handle the aftermaths of the drop itself, and then also how to best prepare for your next drop to maximize your revenue there as well. So in the pre-launch stages, there's basically two goals, right? Number one, list building, so building more touch points with your audience, and also getting a list of people that are interested. So in the future, this is really helpful because you can roughly estimate how many purchases you can get based on the size of your list through. And the second objective is actually to build hype. You want to make sure your audience is aware of the fact that you're going to do something big, and you should build up excitement with your audience. So that brings us to the hype building portion of the process. So realistically, to build a list, you need two things. And to build hype, you need two things. You need traffic and you need a conversion mechanism. What I mean by a conversion mechanism is you need to have a way of turning the web traffic into leads for your business. So to do that, what I like to do when it comes to influencer merch drops is to implement some sort of a sign-up form, which leads to a giveaway flow. So when it comes to sign-up forms, a small mistake that I see a lot of influencers do is they just they kind of like lock their web store behind a password, and then they say, hey, give us your email and we'll tell you when we drop, right? The conversion rate of this is great for people who are really obsessed about your brand, like is a super fan of yours, but it doesn't really convert those people who just kind of like your products, but they're kind of also wary about giving away their emails. To basically just 10x your conversion rate, right, is to run a really simple giveaway. So the simple giveaway can be just purely product, or maybe like a 30-minute FaceTime with you, or a combination of all of that. So you're giving away free product, you're giving away kind of like, I don't know, like a meet and greet with you or something like that. Basically make the giveaway something that your audience will resonate with, right? And it could be big, it could be small, it just depends on how much traffic you will be driving to the landing page. So after they actually become a lead of yours, you need to have what's known as a nurture sequence, or a hype sequence in this case, to basically warm up the audience. So they've just given you that email. It's really bad for you to just go radio silent until the day of the drop, because they're kind of almost expecting you to give them some sort of message, right? You want to warm them up to the idea of actually buying from you. So a really simple way of doing this would be, immediately once they sign up, you welcome them into your list, and then you give them exclusive behind the scenes content and just basically hype them up on the meaning of the brand, why you actually started this, what this means to you, and what this kind of like, what the messaging behind the merch symbolizes, etc. And then right before launch, you want to be sending what's known as pre-launch campaigns. So essentially it's just saying, hey, we're really close to drop. You need to be watching this space, otherwise you're going to miss out, creating a bit of FOMO, just building up more hype prior to the launch. It's like teasing your list, right? Hey, here's a little bit of this, here's a little bit of that, and we're going to drop in 24 hours, let's say, right? Another reason why you want to be driving traffic to a website and that sign up form is because you want to be building up retargeting traffic. So if you're a really large influencer with, let's say, over 1 million YouTube subscribers, I'm guessing you're also going to have other channels like TikTok, Instagram, that you're going to be able to drive traffic from. You want to be building up this retargeting traffic, because I'm going to show you something quite cool later on in the launch stages. Once you get this traffic onto your site that's being recorded by the Facebook Pixel, you're basically ready to launch, and after you've sent out the pre-launch campaigns, obviously. The purpose of the drop period and the launch period is just to sell. You want to, ramp up order volume as much as possible, because, for example, if you're running print on demand, then they can definitely handle the order volume, right? These print on demand services can scale their manufacturing to absurd numbers. And also, if you're doing the pre-sale and then order strategy, then you could basically just ramp it up as much as you want and then just give the order to the manufacturer to manufacture. So during this period, whether it be a weekend or an entire week, you want to be sending out campaigns using what's known as the double down strategy. If you don't know what the double down strategy is, there should be a YouTube video that I've already released on this on my channel, so do subscribe and check that one out as well. What a double down strategy is, basically you're sending a campaign and then boosting it on the same day or the following day, it doesn't really matter, to people who haven't opened the original campaign. This saves design time, it saves copywriting time, and overall you're going to maximize open rates, etc. Next is running retargeting ads on a low daily budget to web visitors plus your list. So this can be done on Facebook, which is why I stressed, install a Facebook pixel, drive some retargeting traffic, and then retarget them. Now, if your personal brand is not huge, then this wouldn't really make a big difference. But let's say you have over 500,000 YouTube subscribers, 200K on Instagram, and I don't know, like 2 million on TikTok, then retargeting ads would be an amazing way to go. Next is, after someone purchases from you, you want to be enrolling them into what's known as a customer thank you flow. So a customer thank you flow is basically a sequence of emails that thanks the customer for purchasing from you, gives them order information, but more importantly in your case, when it comes to drops, and if you're working with print on demand, or especially if you're doing the pre-order and then manufacture thing, you need to set very, very clear expectations when it comes to delivery times. Why? Because you want to be lowering complaints, decreasing cancellations, and minimizing returns as well. Another thing that's quite cheeky that you could actually do is, if you're doing a weekend of drops as opposed to just one day, or like a week of drops as opposed to really short periods, then you can actually incentivize them to order again as soon as possible by giving them a discount during this post-purchase flow. So as soon as they complete the order, maybe the following day you could say, hey, we're giving a VIP discount to people who have already purchased from us. Feel free to utilize this if you want. And it could just be a simple 20% discount to basically just increase lifetime value straight off the bat, right? Now, after the launch is over and after the drop is over, here's how you want to be handling the post-launch. So during post-launch, it's all about, you want to thank your customer who have enrolled into your list, visited your website, checked you out. You really want them to feel good about being a part of this community and helping you out and supporting you with the thing that you're launching, right? You really want to make them feel special, but more importantly, you also want to use this period to generate a bit of fear of missing out for the people who didn't get their orders in. So how you would do this is, you could come from the angle of, hey, like, we sold out pretty quickly, we were really overwhelmed with the order volume. Next time, if you haven't bought already, make sure to pull the trigger as soon as possible, right? Generate a bit of fear of missing out, because I guarantee amongst your list, there'll be a large majority that kind of wanted to buy, but they were just kind of like sitting on the fence and twiddling their thumbs, and eventually the drop is finished, right? So the next step is to plan your next drop whilst keeping your existing list in the loop. So this would be creating new designs for the next line of merch, making sure manufacturing is slightly more tighter, improving customer service and things like that, and planning the next dates for the drop. You also want to be keeping your existing list in the loop, so basically just giving them updates, say, hey, we're working on these designs, etc., etc. And this is where another thing that I see high-level brand owners doing, who are already my clients, that kind of I've never really seen influencers utilize, and that's basically using sales data and the opinion of your customers and your subscribers as feedback on what's popular. So make sure to survey your customers who purchase from you from your existing drop, right? Ask them open-ended questions. And I'll get to what an open-ended question is in a second, and also why is it really important. So questions like, oh, what did you think about the quality of the products? What could we have done better to serve you? What was the main reason that you bought? Make sure you're not asking leading questions though. So the reason why I stress open-ended questions is because you want to be identifying what their objections are before they bought from you, right? So for example, a bad question to ask is, what did you like about our products, right? So this would immediately make them think, oh, I like this, this, and this, which I mean is useful data to have, don't get me wrong. The main things you want to be focusing on is how do you actually improve as a service provider. And the only way to do that is by asking open-ended questions. So for example, things like, oh, what did you think about the quality? If people didn't really like the quality, then they'll express their concerns. Whereas if people really like the quality, then they'd be like, oh, I really like this type of fabric, da 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 da. And you get a broad spectrum of responses as opposed to just the opinion of a very narrow segment of your audience. So this is why asking open-ended questions are super important, and you also want to ask open-ended questions in the sense that they can't be answered in a yes or no fashion. So for example, open-ended questions, a really easy way to kind of frame it would be what and how questions, as opposed to does questions and yes and no questions, basically, right? Survey your customers, ask them for input on future iterations and designs, etc., to basically just optimize your products next time round for more revenue. So yeah, if you found this useful, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to work with me on this or want to get some advice, feel free to either DM me on Instagram or book in a call with me down below. I'm more than happy to give away a discovery call for this if you're an influencer wanting to get into the merch game. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the week. Bye.